He has a force of personality that's not the same thing as sports talent, but elevates that talent. If you didn't know anything about basketball and he walked into the room, you'd say, that's somebody. That's got to be somebody.
Jordan's appeal transcended basketball. He became a cultural phenomenon that extended to the world of marketing and media, and he had even become a trendsetter.
You know, he had his own particular style. He wore those baggy shorts. He was one of the first athletes to shave his head. He was so good, so charismatic, that whatever he did suddenly became popular and became cool.
I don't know, something about the combination of everything, you know. The game, obviously. He was a tremendous athlete. And he had a great smile. Something very wonderful and warm about when he smiled. And he really communicated well with the camera.
It was great. I mean, who wouldn't want to be in commercials or want to see your posters or your billboards all over the place? You know, I'm just a country boy from North Carolina, and to be on television and do these things were great.
Nobody in the world could cover my main man, Michael Jordan. Nobody.
I always wanted to be an easygoing guy. My personality is that I'm outgoing. I love people. I love being around people. I love kids. So if I didn't have the personality to do it, it would be tough. But my personality fits this mold very easily.
It seemed that fans just couldn't get enough of the game's newest superstar, and Air Jordan would never leave them disappointed.
In a league of stars and a game of stars, you were the star of stars. Congratulations on being the 1988 All-Star MVP.
Jordan had risen to superstar status. However, his resume was still missing the one achievement that would cement his place among the game's most elite players.
What separated me from Larry Bird and Magic Johnson was, you know, they had championships to back their individual accolades. So, I mean, that drove me more so than anything.
Here comes Michael Jordan on the drive, 5 seconds. Jordan on the drive, right of the lane, 18-footer.
To compete, to win, it's all I live for, really.
Wide left, Pippen. 3 seconds. Jordan's force-up shot to left. Oh, yes! Win. Michael Jordan saves the day.
When you lose, you know, you're easily forgotten, and I don't think anyone want to go to their graves forgotten.
The inbounds pass comes into Jordan. Here's Michael at the foul line. A shot on Elo. Good! The Bulls win it! They win it!
But in spite of his individual brilliance, Michael had yet to prove that he could lead his team to a title. And as he tried to climb to the top of the NBA, he found that one major obstacle continued to block his path.
People forget how hard it was for that guy to deal with the Detroit Pistons. You know, they were the one person that's saying, you're not so hot. You know, we can stop you. And they did.
Well, the Pistons have moved on, but you really got a feel for this man right here.
For 3 straight years, the Bulls would meet the Pistons in the playoffs. And for 3 straight years, they would suffer a bitter defeat.
Chicago Bulls continue to frustrate themselves and their fans.
I felt it was very disappointing each and every time that we ended up getting to this hurdle and couldn't get over it.
The Pistons return to the NBA Finals for the 3rd straight time.
With each passing year, Michael's frustration grew deeper, while the whispers grew louder that Jordan was simply a one-man show who could not elevate the performance of his team.
I had to contend with people saying, well, a scoring champion doesn't win championships, which drove me nuts.
Defensively, the Pistons are pointing totally at Michael Jordan. They don't believe that any of the other 4 Bulls can hurt them at this point.
You can tell when we're beating him, he's looking around like, I'm doing all I can do. I'm getting 60 points, 45 points, 39 points, and we're still losing.
As the 1991 season began, Jordan knew a change was needed if the Bulls were to finally fulfill their destiny.
I felt that we weren't going to lose out on this opportunity in terms of, you know, my leadership and what I had to do on the basketball court. I was going to do whatever it had to do to get us a championship.
He would focus on getting his teammates more involved and making the most of their talents.
Stock all the way for the driving layup. Blocked by Jordan. Michael Jordan. What a play. And here Jordan down court to Stacey King. Slam dunk. Michael Jordan doing it all.
Greer falls down. And Cartwright steals the ball. Ahead to Jordan. Michael blowing in. Beats Pippen for the jam. Powerhouse.
Anything the Bulls lacked, Jordan would provide as they achieved their best record ever.
If you need something done, I do it. You know, defense, passing, scoring, whatever. That was a challenge that I took.
Returning to the conference finals, they found their tormentors, the Pistons, waiting once again. But this time, things would be different.
Pistons with the numbers. Edwards lost it. Oh, Jordan stripped the dribble. Action open. Yes. The Bulls on fire.
Jordan with Dumars. Takes him into the lane. Hands it off to Horace Grant. Inside, he lays it in. Yes, sir. McGuire baseline right. Doubled up. Had it chopped away. Cartwright ahead to Jordan. Michael in the drive. In on Vinnie Johnson. All the way to the hoop and lays it in. There's panic all over the Pistons' faces.
Finally earning their vindication, the Bulls completed a 4-game sweep and put the Pistons' nightmare behind them.
That's it. That could be the nail in the coffin.
I remember looking directly in his eyes, and it was like, whatever you do, whatever you say, we're gonna beat you. And once you get him like that, all you can do is move aside because there's no stopping this freight train.
The Detroit Pistons heading back to the locker room. Their season has concluded while the Chicago Bulls advance to the NBA championship round.
As he made his NBA Finals debut, Jordan's timing was perfect. He would face Magic Johnson and the Lakers in what would be Magic's last trip to the Finals.
This series tends to be, at least in the public mind, Air Jordan against the Magic Man.
There's no question, you're not going to avoid the Magic Michael thing.
We're going to take our friends and fans on a trip into Dreamland. Magic and Michael.
Magic had led his Lakers to 5 championships in the 80s. If Michael were to inherit his mantle as the NBA's premier superstar, now would be the time to do it, and the entire sports world would be watching.
We didn't feel like the pressure was on us, but the challenge was there, yeah, especially for myself. You know, here I'm going against one of the greatest players in the game, and I want to beat him.
With his opportunity now in front of him, Michael would rise to the challenge and lift his teammates along with him, as Chicago would dominate the Lakers.
Devon's with a bounce pass in Jordan. The steal, tight ropes the sideline, all the way to the hoop for the dunk. A spectacular play by Jordan.
The Bulls have exploded. Showtime as he skies into the air, and Air Jordan throws it down.
Michael and the Bulls would capture their first championship.
The look away to Livingston. Jordan.
Say the word, the world champion Chicago Bulls.
Now the torch of NBA supremacy had emphatically been passed from Johnson to Jordan.
Everybody knew that it was coming. It's just when. When was he going to be ready to receive it and take it? And boy, did he receive it and take it. I mean, he came up and snatched it. Here, give it here, Magic. It's my turn now.
And the Chicago Bulls have won their first ever NBA championship.
For 7 long years, he had pursued the NBA title. And now that he had finally achieved his goal, he seemed to take on an even more heroic quality.
I think the fact that he failed the first few times he took a run at the title made people connect to him and relate to him a little bit better, because they saw that he wasn't just this machine. I mean, everyone's failed at certain things, and to see a star of his magnitude fail and feel it so deeply raised his stature in people's minds.
And it seemed that fans everywhere were reveling in Michael's triumph.
From a public acceptance, you're never a champion until you are a champion. And once that burden was gone, I mean, he just soared to even greater heights that it's just hard to imagine.